all right. No, really, you'll like it. It'll grow on you. It's really good music. It's one of my favourites. Yeah, just worry about it. Just sit down, give it some time, give it a good listen. Yeah, don't worry about it.
It looks like I've come outside to feed some mosquitoes. English summer is changing, and I found a good spot for them. So, bon appetit, my mosquito friends. I like to contemplate, to look at this sense of the edge, of living close to an edge, and the edge is between what we might call a spiritual life and a worldly one. And this edge is a place where, through my years of living in a monastic community, I saw that was a great opportunity to hone some of those skills, because the whole discipline and routine was focused around reflection, continually looking at one's inner responses and so on to things that are going on around me. It was incredibly challenging times, and yet it's still, I noticed for many people, even living within the community, it was still very difficult to get out of the kind of control mode where we feel that we want to trying to get our life to fit exactly the way we would like it to be in order to practice. So often the question is, do we live in order to practice, or practice in order to live? This is an area which is, very much what my little YouTube channel is directed towards. They're just my personal reflections on that subject. And so it's a point which, in terms of traditional meditation teaching, the Vipassana and Samatha angle, one which is very much around supporting calm and peacefulness, and the other one, insight, is seeing more clearly. So as we see more clearly, the mind naturally inclines towards calm, and vice versa. As we find ourselves calmer, then we can see things more clearly. They work together. And Ajahn Chah would used to describe this, or at least I understand he described this, as the edge of a knife. So you'd have you'd need two faces that meet at a cutting edge. So the calm and the insight, the worldly and the spiritual. There's a certain, the very edge where our practice meets. And for many of us, we often try and negotiate or make a spiritual life, which is predominantly very comfortable and easy as we can. And so to me, it would be rather like living in a world made of sponges and trying to get a sharp edge on your knife. There's a point in my life, in all our lives, where we turn towards often the challenges and the difficulties, and we take interest in the things which we find painful and difficult, in order to develop the insight to free ourselves from these things. It's like we turn towards the difficulties, and at the same time, finding within our lives the joy and the pleasure and the rewards of the generosity, kindness, many of the things that we can find in meditation, mindfulness, and a spiritual viewpoint. So this edge is that point where, in my view, at least my experience, I can remember times in my early monastic training when I was very fixed about rules and wanting things the right way, suffered with that. And then other times where I just kind of abandoned any kind of contemplative reflection and suffered with that. So to me, there's a point where they're like two lines of a railway track, and they need to run parallel, otherwise we derail. they come together. And that's this point, the edge I'm thinking of, is the point where these aspects of our life come together. I describe it as a balancing point. Buddha would talk about a middle way or a path, but for all of us in our own lives, our balancing point it will change. We find ourselves loaded more on one side and we need to lean the other way, and so on. So as we progress and we show interest in integrating mindfulness, meditation, reflection, and these qualities into everyday life, is maintaining a balance where we still have a view, we can appreciate how to keep this thing rolling in a way which we feel is leading somewhere, and we're not falling into catastrophes and holes, and it's nourishing. Practice becomes something really interesting and quite exciting, often confusing, often difficult, but the difficulties are the things which we find that we really want to get involved in, because we know that through our own practice and insight, the world is never the way we first see, and a release and relief from confusion and from doubts is something which is difficult to put into words. But as we live this life and we practice these disciplines, and my background is quite broad. I was a Buddhist monk for a while, but I have many interests in other more contemplative practices. So I hope to be able to offer some diverse almost games, things we can do, offer questions, and so it's kind of offering food for that inquiring mind, in order to help us balance that edge in our lives. So that's the intention, and we'll see how it goes. Please give me feedback. I'm interested in getting some dialogue. If you feel that you like to do that, stick on a comment, stick a like, subscribe. I'm living very much a reclusive life these days because of caring for my mother. I don't travel much or anything, so yeah, talk to me. I'll be interested to know what you think. Bye for now.